Sherry.
I'm your host, Anita Blanton, and I will be with you through 4 p.m. We do have plenty to get to in this first hour that we have here together. So let's go over what we have planned here. I think we're working out a couple of issues there. But we are going to talk about the Indiana Department of Transportation's Give Green the Break program with their public relations director. This is focused on making it easier for individuals to be seen and to stay safe. So you think about first responders, for construction workers. I mean, we have like the move over law, but this just adds to the levels of protecting them when they're out and about doing their jobs. We also have the Illinois Department of Transportation that's going to be joining us here today to focus on the upcoming rehabilitation project and traffic impacts on the Bishop Ford Freeway. That is Interstate 94, in case you don't know, and we're going to be talking about what you can expect. Let me just ask my producers really quickly. Are they seeing what I'm seeing in front of me?
The guest is on. What do you mean?
I'm seeing what's down in the studio downstairs. Okay, we're working on that, everybody. I hope that Sylvia is okay and doesn't make any sudden moves. Okay, all right. Hi, everybody. I'm like, I hope Sylvia doesn't do anything wrong or offensive because we can see her right now, and she doesn't know that. Oh, Thursday. Hi, everybody. All right, let's talk a little bit more. This is a biggie. Beginning in the 2026-2027 academic year, Notre Dame is going to ensure that families with annual incomes below $150,000 will receive need-based financial aid that covers the cost of tuition. And in fact, families with income below $200,000, so they're kind of raising that bar even more, will receive need-based aid that covers half the cost of tuition. So it's major. And their vice president for undergraduate enrollment is going to be joining me here shortly to talk about that as well. At some point in time during this hour together, we also anticipate that Governor Pritzker is going to be making a stop at the CineSpace Studios here in Chicago. That's on 15th Place. And if he is there with our cameras and we're able to maybe pop up a picture and listen in a bit, it looks like he is speaking right now. Let's actually go ahead and listen to just a bit of this before we get to our first interview for the day.
Space in 2019, I promised to forge a path forward so that the film industry can reach ever greater heights. Well, we're delivering on that promise. Last year, film production expenditures in Illinois reached an all-time high of $703 million. And maybe just as important as that big number, it also has generated over 18,000 hires, paying out over $400 million in wages. So I think you all know, for TV producers and filmmakers, Illinois offers expert production staff, cast, and crew, phenomenal hotels and bed and breakfasts to stay at all across the state, local restaurants to dine in, bars to visit after hours, quality catering that brings meals to the sets, drivers to transport crews to different locations, and a well-trained and diverse workforce. Our film and TV industry is now in the top 5 for production spend and has become a boon for the entire state of Illinois. I'm glad to be joined today by some of the people who've helped to make that happen. The legislative leaders, industry legends, labor organizers, and community partners that have helped to build us into an industry powerhouse. From the film sector, of course, you just met CineSpace CEO Keith Gee, Joe Minoso from infamous and famous Chicago Fire, from the Illinois Green Business
Okay, so we're
Alliance.
listening then there just to a bit of his introductory comments as he talks about the film and television industry in our state, and specifically all of the work that's been going into Chicago for the industry, and the targeted state investments now that he says resulted in a record-breaking $703 million in film production expenditures in 2025. So a big announcement from the Cinespace Studios there on 15th Place, West 15th Place here in Chicago about the film and TV industry production that's happening throughout our state, but more specifically here in Chicago. So wanted to be able to bring that to you live while it's happening. And as they continue on, let's go ahead and talk about our first subject for the day. And it really takes us to a crime that happened that has been deeply troubling. Had a lot of people talking about it this morning. A Loyola student shot and killed near Tobey Prinz Beach early this morning in the Rogers Park neighborhood. And we are so glad to have Alder Maria Haddon, who represents that ward, 49th Ward for Rogers Park, who is joining me now. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you for speaking with us today and covering this story.
Absolutely. I have seen so many posts about it. So many people have been coming to our site looking for more information about it. We have limited information at this point in time, but what can you tell us that you know at this point?
Sure. What I can say is that, our community has suffered a tragedy early this morning around 1 a.m. A young woman, Loyola student, Sheridan Gorman, was shot and killed. She was with other classmates. Obviously, we've been in contact with Loyola University, Chicago Police Department, the mayor's office, Park District. This has been a shock to the system. It's our first homicide for the year, and just a tragedy. So I know that people are really looking for details. The investigation is ongoing, and we're hoping to let police do their job, do the work on the investigation, so that we can get more answers for community.
Yeah, I mean, we found out okay, this is a masked individual that pops out while she's with a group of her friends. Should other people be concerned about their safety right now, or do we think that this is a targeted incident?
So from what I've been told so far, right, from what police know, from speaking to the students who were with her, it seems she might have, that as they were just out, people go out to the beach all the time, right? And they go out on the pier, they walk around. So the kids were out doing normal things people do in the neighborhood. And it sounds like this might have been a wrong place, wrong time, running into a person who had a gun. They might have startled this person at the end of the pier unintentionally. But that's all we know. So it from what I've been told, what police investigation has turned up so far, what they've been able to share with me and with Loyola University, we don't believe there is cause for broader community concern at this time.
Like I said, it is so disturbing. A first homicide in your ward for the year, and we're now, coming towards the end of March. How does that make you feel? This isn't something that you are having to report on day in and day out, or even month in and month out. How does it make you feel for your ward?
Sad. Every loss of life is tragic. Depending on the circumstances, this one I think has really just caught a lot of people off guard. The beach, I'm actually out here right now. This is a park we all enjoy. Rogers Park is a very warm, welcoming, almost small town-like community, as a neighborhood in the city of Chicago. This really shakes you to your core, right? It makes you question things. I know that we're going to get through this. I do trust the investigation process, that we'll be able to get justice for Sheridan and her family. And I'm just trying to be there for our neighbors and our community as we process this tragedy, and also knowing that whenever we have a loss of life like this, when someone's taken from us, this also brings up it brings up trauma from previous issues that we've had. And so just trying to be there for the neighbors. I'll be at the vigil tonight that Loyola's holding, and want to make sure if anyone is feeling the need to talk to someone, we have resources available through our office for mental health support, for discussion, and to talk through things.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about those resources, because Loyola University Chicago president also issued a statement saying that counseling and support services will be made available to students who are obviously flustered by this. Let us know what you have through your office.
Sure, absolutely. Folks can call. So we're 773 576-9625. They can call our office, office at 49thward.org. Also email us, or we're at 1447 West Morse. We are very fortunate to have multiple mental health nonprofit organizations that are here to support people. So if anyone needs anything, contact my office. We are available to put them in touch. We even have through Trilogy Health Services 24/7 mental health crisis response line. But we've got partner organizations. We're ready to support people, and they can just reach out to our office so we can get them connected.
Well, I certainly hope that people will reach out if they need to talk to anyone. Don't hold it in. Violence like this should never feel commonplace in any neighborhood. Again, Alder Haddon, thank you so much for your time today. I hate that it's under these circumstances, but if there is more that develops here, please let us know so that we can let others know, because like I said, so many people have been reaching out for more information.
Absolutely, and I think that I appreciate the coverage of news organizations like yours to make sure that we're getting people good information. Again, as you've mentioned, this is traumatic, it's shocking, and when we have limited information, people are searching. Sometimes bad information circulates, so just encouraging people to let the investigation take its course, and we will continue through my office sharing with the media and with our community good information that we get, so that we can hopefully get justice for Sheridan's family and also get answers for our community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Everyone, it's about 1:13 right now, and the young woman, as she said, was her name was Sheridan Gorman. So let's have her family and friends, especially those friends who were with her this morning, in our thoughts and prayers. Such a tragic loss there. And speaking of a tragic loss, we're actually working to get more information right now about another story that so many people online have been looking into. A young man from our area who has been missing from, went over to Spain, a college student went over to Spain and has been missing. He's originally from Elmhurst, and so we have been following this story. What we know at this point in time, and this just came out, so I'll let you know this before we go to break here, is that it appears that a body has been found in the sea in Barcelona that authorities believe is likely Jimmy Gracie. Again, he is a 20-year-old student, originally from Elmhurst in our area. He has been missing since earlier this week. Police discovered this body this afternoon near a breakwater by a particular beach in that area, and that is the same area where they had been searching for him. So they are still formally trying to confirm this, but it does appear, again, that this could possibly, I want to put all of the caveats there until this is fully confirmed here, but it could possibly be the young man that they are searching for, Jimmy Gracie. Jimmy disappeared on Tuesday morning. He had been out with friends in the Port Olympic area. They had gone to a nightclub, and it was in the Port Olympic area. He was last seen around 3 a.m. and then never turned up at his Airbnb. So a witness did tell police they saw him walking toward the sea that night. Investigators have ruled out foul play as the main theory here, but again, we are still working to lock down that this for sure is the young man that they are looking for, but they have found a body. That is confirmed. They have found a body in the sea in Barcelona near the area where they believe that Jimmy Gracie disappeared. We'll continue to work on confirming all of that information and lining up all of the information for that particular story that so many people have been following. But this is the latest information that we have in it, that a body was found in the sea in Barcelona near the area, the search area for Jimmy Gracie. It is 1:16 right now. Give us 2 minutes, everyone, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. It is 1:18 right now, and we're moving on with the discussion. This is going to sound like music to so many people's ears, I'm sure. We often talk about getting higher education is a blessing. It is a wonderful thing. It can benefit you in many ways, but it can also be a huge financial burden. And so Notre Dame is doing something about it for many families as a part of their Pathways to Notre Dame initiative. And I want to go ahead and bring in the Vice President for Undergraduate Enrollment, Mickey Kiter. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It's a privilege to be with you today.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about this initiative, the 150,000 families who make under $150,000 not having to pay tuition is amazing.
Yes, we are so excited for the opportunity that this provides for families. We think that it expands the affordability and the access for future families to ensure that they know a Notre Dame education is affordable, it's accessible to students regardless of the socioeconomic background and pathway they find themselves. And for students from families with incomes less than $150,000, to have clarity of that message and to have confidence when they're applying to Notre Dame that this transformative education is affordable. We couldn't be more excited for these families and the impact to them.
It really is huge. And I mean, when we talk about the cost, I mean, with this type of help, let's say without, let's say without this type of help, what would be the cost without it?
Right. So the cost of education and the sticker price, if you will, for Notre Dame education is approximately $90,000. And admittedly, that's expensive, right? To your point earlier, it's a lot of money. And what we find is that for many families, when they see that sticker price, and not knowing that Notre Dame has a long-standing tradition of providing significant need-based financial aid to students, they don't know that reconciliation between sticker price and net price. And we feel that this makes it really clear and easy to understand that we are committed to making sure that this is affordable and affordable to all families.
And I mentioned that this is a part of the Pathways program. Give us a little more context of the full program.
Yes, so the Pathways to Notre Dame program actually began in September of 2024 when our 18th president of the university, Father Bob Dowd, announced this in his inauguration speech. It began with two policy changes. One is that we read applications for admission need blind for all applicants, both domestic and international. The second piece of it was that we no longer include loans in our financial aid offers. So before we were meeting the demonstrated need, but a part of that would come with a required loan. And we felt that that was impacting the opportunity for especially middle income families to say yes to Notre Dame. So we have now removed the burden of debt when we meet the demonstrated need of families. And that has been really wonderful. We've seen an increase in middle income families apply and ultimately matriculate to Notre Dame in the last 2 years. This new addition ensures that beginning next academic year, families with incomes of less than $150,000 annual income will no longer pay tuition. We will provide them financial aid offers that cover at least tuition. Families with annual incomes up to $200,000, we will provide financial aid offers that cover at least half of tuition. And most families who have annual incomes up to $60,000, we will provide financial aid offers that cover tuition, fees, housing, and food. So we're really committed to ensure, as I said before, affordability for all families. And these are floors, these are not ceilings. So families certainly can qualify for more need, but this is to ensure greater transparency on these levels of incomes.
I'm really astounded. I mean, I think this will help so many people, but from you doing what you do, I'm sure you all have looked at about how many students this could impact.
Yes, I could not be more excited for these families. We love what we do here in the enrollment division at Notre Dame because we get to welcome young people into this family and provide them an incredible transformative education, but they also enrich this campus in really beautiful ways. Over half of our undergraduate students at Notre Dame are always on need-based financial aid. And for us, what this means is that we can ensure that larger groups of applicants can be seen in our pool every year from lower and middle income families who perhaps right now see that cost of attendance, see that sticker price, and aren't even putting their name in the hat and aren't even applying to Notre Dame. I'm confident that there are amazingly academically prepared, beautiful young people out there. We want to make sure that they know this is affordable. And once they're admitted to Notre Dame, that they can say yes to this education. And so I could not be more excited for these families. It's incredibly heartwarming, and we can't wait to welcome them to campus.
When you talk about a transformative education there at Notre Dame, what makes Notre Dame different than the rest? Why would someone select Notre Dame other than having zero tuition? That's huge. But yeah. Why should someone select Notre Dame?
Well, there's obviously so many wonderful institutions of higher education across this country and across the world. And certainly we celebrate all of our peer institutions. At Notre Dame, though, we really believe in our mission, and it is born out of our Catholic mission, where we invest in the minds of these young people, but never at the expense of their heart. And we have a commitment to their full human formation, mind, body, and spirit. That education, we believe, is transformative. We invest in all parts of them so they can go out and be the greatest version of themselves and be powerful means for good. To change the world, a world that is in need of great leaders that are leading with mind, but also with heart and with ethics and with great values. And we feel that this community, again, informed by our Catholic mission, really surrounds these young people with just this incredible, incredible community and comprehensive transformative education.
Well, I'm seeing here that the university's undergraduate financial aid commitment is going to exceed $1 billion in the next 4 years, which is massive. How are you all able to do this?
Yes, so we have a long-standing tradition of providing undergraduate financial aid here at Notre Dame, and that comes through both an institutional commitment to ensuring that we allocate budget dollars to this. I mean, it is one of our single greatest budget line items. We believe wholeheartedly in ensuring that this is affordable and accessible, and the institution as a whole allocates resources to ensure this is possible. I would be remiss, though, if I didn't celebrate and acknowledge the only way that we've also been able to do this and exceed this $1 billion is the extraordinary generosity from so many members of this family. Both personal family philanthropic contributions over the last many decades to Notre Dame, and also more organizational family foundations, et cetera. The Notre Dame family has stepped up and continues to step up in really beautiful ways to ensure that this education is accessible and is affordable, and in many ways paying it forward, right? That individuals have had such a beautiful experience here, and they want others to share in this experience. And so both from an institutional commitment to prioritizing this and from members of the Notre Dame family investing in this philanthropically, we're able to lead and prioritize undergraduate financial aid here on this campus.
Well, again, hats off to you all for what you are doing. We have so many conversations about, the affordability in this country right now, and even for when it comes to four-year institutions. A lot of people have chosen other routes over the last few years because of that one thing, affordability, and this seems like it will make a difference.
We think so, and we're really excited. We believe in what we're doing here. We believe in our mission, and we never want affordability to be a barrier to this education.
Well, wonderful speaking with you today. Thank you so much for what you're doing for the students and for making some time for us here on Chicago Live.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Take care. Everybody, it's 1:28. Let's get in a 2-minute break and we'll be right back. welcome back, everyone. It's 1:30 right now, and we always talk about two seasons in Chicago: winter and construction. And so let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the Bishop Ford. I mean, look at that outside right now. This is the view from our 2800 camera over Lakeshore Drive. It is beautiful outside today, and we're headed in the right direction when it comes to the temperatures outside and the conditions out there over the next few days, which means it might give way to a little bit more construction to actually take place. And the Illinois Department of Transportation is giving us more information about the rehab project and the traffic impacts for the Bishop Ford Freeway or Interstate 94. Eric Ray with INDOT District 1. He is the construction area supervisor joining me now. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Get us up to speed on the Bishop Ford project.
Well, we are about to embark on the next phase of construction. We have already completed advanced work on the Bishop Ford. That includes work that was performed last year on pavement patching of the ramps, protective shielding, and other forms of work that could set us up to begin work this year. This year work includes more pavement patching in the south section and also the north section. The contract is going to be broken up into two sections, a 6.5-mile section at the north and then another 3-mile section just south of the Little Calumet River. Work south of the Calumet River will include HMA resurfacing, as asphalt resurfacing, pavement patching, and some bridge deck repairs, rehabs, and overlays.
Talk about the importance of this project. I mean, we often mention 94. We often mention, I'm sure you hear the complaints just like we do about the roadways around. So talk about the importance of a project like this.
Well, the existing pavement is in pretty bad shape. There are potholes out there. There are some structural problems on the bridges that we want to repair. And it is a major interstate that carries a lot of traffic. It's about 167,000 vehicles per day that are impacted when the roadway is in disrepair. So we do want to get out there and make the road a little safer, have better rideability, faster commute times, and also improve some of the structural issues with the bridges. We'll be reconstructing the bridge deck at 159th Street, 154th. We'll have some joint overlays, some joint repairs and bridge deck overlays. And then at Michigan City Road, we currently have that road closed with a full detour, and we are reconstructing that entire bridge as well.
And why now?
It's in bad shape. It probably could have been done a couple of years ago. People who ride the Bishop Ford know that there are some sections that are in pretty bad shape. We do want to get out there and repair those as soon as possible, at least in this phase of the project. In 2026, we plan to work primarily in the outbound direction. We will be reducing from 3 lanes to 2 in the outbound direction in 2026. And in 2027, we will do the reverse on the other side. We will be reducing from 3 lanes to 2 lanes in that direction. So we expect heavy congestion, but we appreciate the public's patience as we get it done.
And let me ask you a couple of things based off of what you just said. One would be the timeline on this. When are you expecting to have it fully complete?
So full completion would be toward the end of 2027. We expect to have the majority of the work in the outbound direction done by the end of this construction season with minimal impacts to the inbound direction. In 2027, it'll be the opposite. We expect to have minimal impacts in the outbound direction and complete the full project scope by the end of 2027, with the exception of maybe some landscaping items or some electrical items that will be mostly off of the roadway or completed under night work.
And we do often find that this is from the driver's perspective. Things feel worse before they get better. So we appreciate you kind of talking about some of the impacts up front that you're expecting. What is that like for you all, though, on your side of things, when you do see the frustration before we get to the promised line, if you will?
It is always difficult, especially for the motorists. We share their frustration because we have to drive the exact same roads to get to our work sites every day as well. But we do ask for patience as we complete our work. We ask that people pay attention to the work zone speed limits. Remember that you have to drive safe and pay attention when in the work zones. Don't be distracted when you're driving through. We'll get through it together. We are working to get the work done as quickly as possible, but we also want it to be safe for the motorists and the workers.
And let's say someone does hit a pothole out there. What are you supposed to do when you hit a pothole?
Well, you want to get to a safe place where you can pull over safely, and that at that location you can either call for assistance and change a tire. We don't want people to stop in dangerous situations, and in the work zone, we try to provide places for the motorists to have a chance to pull over, whether it be in a lane closure or on the shoulder.
And in your capacity, what is it like to bring the relief that so many people have called on for so long to people? I mean, to oversee a project, to be a part of a project that so many people have waited on. What does that feel like to you?
Well, for myself and for, I'm sure, a lot of the others involved, the other engineers and construction workers, it is a good feeling. You struggle through a project, you struggle through all of the conflicts and any problems that you have to overcome. But once you get it done and the roadway gets open, people forget really quickly how bad the construction was once they're happy that the roadway is complete and that we're out of their way and they can resume their travels. Trucks and other businesses can operate. So we're helping mobility in the area.
What are the things that hamper a construction timeline?
Sometimes there are utility conflicts. Sometimes there are unknown subsurface conditions in the soils. For instance, we have some bridge reconstructions that are going to require some excavations, and we don't know what's down there sometimes until we get in there. Also, weather can be a major factor when we need to do certain aspects of work. They can be very weather sensitive, and that can delay the work as well.
What does the financial outlook on this project look like right now?
So currently we have the Michigan City Road project, and if I recall correctly, that is about $12 million. And the Bishop Ford resurfacing and patching contract is $81 million.
And that's before you find some extra things that happen that you didn't know about when you get out there.
There could always be extras, yes. Extra
Yeah.
unanticipated additional costs.
Yeah. And for the state's budget, a lot of people will say, oh my goodness, when they see the dollars, but I think it is important for everybody to keep in mind again the relief that will come from this in time. What do you think is also something you would want to make sure people are cognizant of when it comes to this project or the work that it takes to get it done?
It does take a lot of work and a lot of advanced planning from people very early on. It takes several years to get a project like this to bring it to the actual construction. I come in construction, but there are people who have been working on this for years. And a lot of that hard work does not really get seen, but in the end result, you can appreciate the new roadway that does not have the same problems that the old one did.
And on you all's hierarchy of projects, where does this fall and why?
Well, that's a tough question because all of my projects are a high priority, from the smallest to the largest. Some of them are high profile and they get a lot more attention, but they're all high priority.
Okay. Well, this is a good update here. Again, you hear the complaints, we hear the complaints, and I'm sure we'll hear more before they disappear. But thank you so much for what you all do on a regular basis. We do appreciate it. That is for sure. What do you think people, maybe the misnomers about IDOT engineers that people don't understand about that job in particular?
Probably, I would say that they don't understand that our motivation is to deliver the program, but to do it in a way that causes as little inconvenience as possible. We really do care that we are delivering the best product possible. We argue and fight with contractors all the time to make sure that they're doing it right and that the public gets the most bang for their buck. And that's one of the primary drivers of our work, is having that involvement, that personal involvement, and making sure that taxpayers get the most bang for their buck.
Okay, well, we're going to buckle up and get ready for this ride and hope that it's on schedule by the end of 2027.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time and again for what you all do.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You take care. Everyone, it's 1:41 right now. And one of the things that he mentioned, I just want to key in on before we go to break here, and that is the issue of distracted driving. When he talked about the fact that these workers are going to be out there for quite some time, right? And they're trying to do a huge project. And obviously that's to help all of us on the roads. We want to make sure that they're safe in doing that job, and our part in it is to pay attention as they are maybe changing things out there to complete the work. Making sure that we're not distracted drivers out there on the road that could hinder them from getting home at the end of the day, not just the timeline of the project. Their lives are much more important than the timeline of the project. And we're going to talk a little bit more about protecting those whose job it is to be along our freeways, our highways and byways, coming up after this break, and the protection that they are receiving. It's 1:42. We'll be back in 2 minutes. All right, welcome back, everyone. It's just about 1:45 right now, and we do want to get to that conversation about protecting the workers who have to be out on our highways and byways as they go about doing their jobs on a regular basis, whether that is smoothing out the roads that we complain about all the time, or it's literally protecting us, protecting our safety on a regular basis. I want to go ahead and bring in Cassie Bajek, the Public Relations Director for the Indiana Department of Transportation. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk about the Give Green the Break program. This, again, ties back into keeping the workers safe out there, but how?
Yeah, so these are wearable devices and they have a green light on them. It's a flashing green light and it can be seen, 360 degrees. And that combined with a high visibility vest is 89% more visible to drivers out there. And they can be seen 5 times sooner when they're wearing both the high vis vest with one of these green lights. And so we're bringing these to our highway maintenance workers and trying to equip each one of our workers with these lights.
It's described as a guardian angel. And why is that?
Yeah, just really to help protect our workers, to give them that extra, visibility out there on the roadway. We are always looking to make it safer for them to be out on the road. It is more distracting than ever for drivers out there. The radio, the phones, people are always looking down at their phones. And so we want to try to equip our workers out there with everything we can to make them more visible. Green is also really helpful. That light green color, bright green color, is the most visible color out there. So that's what the research shows. And it's also really distinguishable from the normal colors that we use in work zones. And so we're hoping that green really sticks out. It's really distinguishable from all the other colors that we use, and it will hopefully show drivers that, hey, this is different. This is a person. I really need to pay attention.
Yeah. How far away can you see that light?
Yeah, so it's over 3,500 feet. Under ideal conditions, it's actually over 5 miles, but we know on the roadway you're not going to be able to see 5 miles in front of you. Mm-hmm. So really on the road, it's about 3,500 feet. It's 5 times sooner than you would probably be able to see them if they just had on a high vis vest.
Mm-hmm. We often talk about the move over law, and maybe don't spend enough time talking about the reason these things exist, the reason you need this Give Green the Break program, the reason why we need the move over law. Can you expound on that a little bit more?
Yeah, we see it all the time that for some reason people are just not paying attention when they're out on the road. And we have so many close calls with our crews, both with, construction zones that are set up 24/7 and are always in place. And then especially with our maintenance crews who are, going out and they're setting up a work zone that's only going to be out there for a couple of hours. And so they're having mobile operations where they're moving. And especially with those ones, people are just really not paying attention. And that's where we have the most issues, is that people are just not being alert. And, we have so many people on their phones, and it's really scary for them out there when they don't have people paying attention.
It is so scary. And again, they deserve to get home just like the rest of us at the end of the day. Some of their work literally is so we can get home safely. Talk to me about the volume of projects that you have out there that they're working on right now.
Yeah, every year we have, hundreds of construction projects around the state, and then we work on the state roads, but then we also have, permit work that occurs on our state roads. And so that'll be anything from utilities to, businesses may need to do permit work in order to build a driveway, or, even homeowners might need to have permit work to build a driveway. And then we also have cities and counties who are doing their own work. And so work zones are everywhere. And so that's why it's so important that people are paying attention, because you can come across them anywhere at any time. And, they're going to be really prevalent as we go into the spring season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how did this come about? What was the conversation like?
Yeah, so at INDOT, safety is really important. We actually have an innovation division. And so that group, you can submit innovation ideas internally here at INDOT. Each year, they look at all of the ideas that are submitted, and they actually vote and determine which ones are the best ideas. And we just use those internally, and we, take them out through the entire state. And so that was one of the ideas that was submitted. We saw it and we were like, this is a great idea. We should absolutely be doing this. And so it was basically just, one person saw this, said, hey, why aren't we doing this here at INDOT? This would be a great way to make it safer for our highway maintenance workers who are out there on the roads every day. We looked into it more. We did a test pilot in the fall. We actually tested some different colors because green's not the only color that's available. So we tested different colors. We had both highway maintenance workers and some of our Hoosier helpers that also are out on the highways. look and see, what they thought about the program, which ones they thought worked the best. And then from there, we implemented it more statewide, and we decided, what color we were going to use, kind of what the procedures were going to be. And now we're moving forward with it as a statewide program.
Wow. And maybe, because I love this innovation division, what are some of the other things that they have come up with over the last couple of years to really take this level of safety to a new level?
Yeah, they've come up with a lot of different ideas. So, I mean, they've done like a plow blade changer. So, something where it makes it easier to assist with, putting the plow blade up so that it has something to actually like rest on. And so then it's easier to do it more quickly. We also like guardrail cleaning tools so that it's quicker and more efficient to do that process. Then there's sometimes even things just related to efficiency with, programs that we utilize. So, apps or just different efficiencies like that. So it can be anything from something that, highway maintenance workers would use or people in the office would use. And it really helps with making us, really think outside the box of how we can make things more efficient. And with such a large organization, we're one of the largest state departments in Indiana. It encourages everyone at every level of the agency to, take their ideas, submit them, and then it can become something that we, make a standard throughout the entire agency.
Oh, that is really awesome. Tell me maybe, what it means to you to be a part of these efforts to protect the lives of those who are helping us.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, we all play a part in highway safety. For me, helping get out the word of, when we're going to have, road construction happening, letting people know when and where that's going to occur, reminding people that, highway workers are going to be out there and that we really need to do our part to protect them. I think it's just really important to get that message out there and remind people that, these are real people with real families who are doing such important work that, is vital for all of us. We can't get anywhere without them. And so for me, it's just such important work. And I'm really thankful that I get to do that all the time and get to work with all of these people who do such great work. So it's really fulfilling in that regard. And I am always really glad that, we do such great work for everyone. We couldn't get anywhere without the roads. And so infrastructure is so important. Our highway workers put in so much time and effort. They are so proud of the work that they do. They take it very seriously. They have a lot of pride in being INDOT workers, and they know that they're doing it for their families. That's why they come to work every day, to make sure that their loved ones, their family members have a safe way to get to work, especially, coming out of the winter season. That's what motivates them to come to work every day and work 12-hour plow shifts, because they know they need to do that for people to be able to get to work after it's snowed for 6 hours. So it's just really, really important work that everyone here is doing.
Yeah, Cassie, I mean, that's really what it's about at the end of the day. Thank you so much for taking time out to talk to me a little bit about the Greenlight project. And feel free, anytime you all are coming up with new innovations, to let us know about them. They are vitally important. The workers are vitally important to us, and therefore the protection for them is vitally important as well.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. You take care. It's about 1:55 right now, and it is pretty awesome what they are doing. This 360-degree visibility from miles away for all of the workers who are out there, just trying to get them home at the end of the day. And again, let's all just be mindful of that when we see construction workers or when we see first responders out there on the roadways. Give them a little extra time. Make sure that we're not distracted on our phones or whatever the case may be. So that, again, they can get home safely, just like we want to get home safely at the end of wherever we're coming from. All right, it's about 1:55, so we're going to take a quick 2-minute break, and when we come back, I'll set you up for where we're going in the 2 o'clock hour. We were monitoring a press conference moments ago, trying to get some information about that. I believe they were giving an update on that Temple Israel attack that took place in Michigan. I believe that was last week. So if we get some more information on that, I will give that to you on the opposite side of this break. Okay, welcome back, everyone. As far as I can see thus far from the press conference I told you we were monitoring on the Temple Israel attack that took place in Michigan last week, again, that in case you aren't familiar with it, was when a man drove a vehicle through the front door of that synagogue. The synagogue is also a school, and so there were children in there as well. Everyone was okay in terms of the staff members and the children who were in there, but he had a massive amount of fireworks, gas canisters, a firearm as well, but it does look like he was taken out before police or anyone else could get to him, that maybe he took his own life. So Temple Israel has now released the first photos from inside of the hallways, of the fire damage, and what was left in there. Again, the students and the staff quickly evacuated, thank goodness, because of the great work of the security guards who were in there at the time. One of those security guards, in fact, had to be taken to the hospital unconscious, knocked unconscious in the midst of it all. But again, they were just giving some updates here and also showing some images in that press conference of what was left behind, the damage that was left behind. Obviously, it looked like the intention was to take lives, and that was not the case. But there is a lot of damage there. So they're getting more information about the person, this Ayman Muhammad Ghazali, who took his own life inside of the vehicle that he rammed into the Temple Israel with, but also sharing some of the images there. Let me tell you a little bit about where we're going in this second hour for Chicago Live today. Before we get to the 3 o'clock hour, we're going to talk about the oil prices. They're going up and up and up by the day in the midst of the war in Iran. That conflict there, of course, is now, obviously there's attacks that are happening throughout the region, but a lot of the conversation has centered around the Strait of Hormuz, which carries 20% of the world's supply of oil through that one strait. And as that has been headed off and there aren't boats going through there, the prices continue to go up, and so we're going to be talking about where things stand at this point in time. I can tell you that I was just talking to someone today, a little earlier today, not too long ago, that typically fills up their vehicle for $36, and it was $78.32 today. And that's not diesel fuel. The diesel, the drivers, the CDL drivers, commercial driver's license, those truck drivers out there who are delivering food to the grocery store or to the restaurants that we then pay for our food from, are putting diesel fuel in, and that is even higher. So we're going to talk a little bit about the oil prices and where we are with things and where we're going. We're also going to talk to our own Brett Bugansky, who is following up on the fire in Rogers Park that took the life of one of our finest, one of our Chicago firefighters in this area, fourth generation firefighter. His grandfather at one point in time was the commissioner in this area. So a true tragedy for the Chicago Fire Department, and we're getting more information and working to get even more about what took place there as fundraisers are happening throughout our area and online to try to help his young family. I believe he was just 32 years old, firefighter EMT Altman. Mike Altman, just 32 years old. He has a young child and one child on the way. His wife is pregnant. So a true tragedy that took place this week. And Brett is working on getting more information about that fire itself and the efforts to help his family. They will need our support for a very long time. So looking forward to a conversation with Brett about that coming up a little bit later on in this hour. We're also going to talk about the South Shore Line. Some new things happening with the South Shore Line. They announced today the completion, we always love to hear that word, the completion of the West Lake Corridor Project line extension and the long-awaited opening of train service for another corridor. So getting some good updates there for the South Shore Line. We're going to talk federal interest rates. Well, if you were with us yesterday, we took the decision of and the announcement from the Fed Chair Jerome Powell right here on our air, the complete time frame that he was speaking and answering questions from reporters. We took it all right here on our air so that you could hear not just the announcement, but also his justification for not changing the rates. A lot of that has to do with the war in Iran as well. But the Federal Reserve may do an interest rate cut at some point in time this year. We just don't know when that is. And in fact, coming into the year, we thought there would be two. So now it's just looking like there may be one, and we don't know when that will be. So all of that is to come in this hour ahead. But let's start off here with the interim fire chief for Aurora so that we can talk about some new things happening there. Kevin Nickel is joining me now as they have had their ribbon cutting for two new fire stations in Aurora. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Anita.
Absolutely. It's an exciting time for you all. Tell me where these firehouses are.
They're going to be on the northeast side of Aurora. We had extensive growth in the last 20 years. So the need for moving these stations in this area to better serve our citizens was key. So it's going to be on the northeast side. We got Station 9, which is going to be on Loyola, just north of New York. And we have Station 13 that's going on Bilter Road over by the expressway at 88 and Farnsworth.
Tell me a little bit about the northeast side of Aurora.
Just immense growth in the recent years. So you got a lot of new building, a lot of new businesses. So it just the need for stations up in that area was paramount.
Mm-hmm. And obviously this changes or cuts down drastically, hopefully, the time that it takes for our first responders to get to any type of emergency that may happen there on the northeast side. Talk to me about that effort, trying to cut down time when seconds literally count.
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up. That's that's the ultimate goal, is to reduce response times, because that's the difference between life and death. And we have Station 9 where it was positioned before. It was very difficult to get up to the northeast side of our town and north of 88. And now with Station 13 there, it's gonna reduce our response times in half, which is huge, and it's great. It's great for those residents up there.
Yeah, that really is big, cutting it by half. And my thought is that with a new firehouse, you get new bells and whistles. Tell us a little bit about what's going in these firehouses that may not be in some others.
They're beautiful. They come with a lot of features. One of the features that our firefighters enjoy is there's training aspects that are inside of the firehouse where they can do train on rescues, window rescues with off the ladders. They can also do basement fire simulation, getting firefighters out of basement fires. So just a lot of elements like that. And also with the new fire stations these days, the concentration on cancer prevention and having gear washers and gear lockers that have ventilation, just reducing their exposure to these carcinogens is key. And that's, as fire chief, that's very important to us to be able to protect the people that are out there protecting our public.
Absolutely. Chief Nickel, let's spend a little more time talking about that, because it often becomes a point of conversation when there's a pension discussion or something like that. But cancer prevention, when it comes to our firefighters, I don't think there's enough conversation about that on a regular basis. Do you see that the number, the level of carcinogens increases in society over time?
Absolutely. You have, just the products that are going into everything. Before you had cotton, wood, wool. Now you have, everything is made of plastics. So, and plastics carry a lot of carcinogens, and they're not tested under fire either. So when they ignite and release all those chemicals, the protective gear that our firefighters are wearing, they're just trying to keep up with the demand of these ever-changing environments that our firefighters are faced with.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that also, I was speaking with someone just the other day about like the amount of lithium batteries out there and things like that now. Do you feel like it changes like the combustion also of the types of fires that you all are being sent to?
Yes, and with electrical vehicles and lithium batteries, it's like a blowtorch coming out of there. And the most difficult part about it is getting to the base of that, because they're encapsulated in metal. So that's very hard to get to. So a lot of times it takes about an hour to put out a vehicle fire when they have lithium batteries. And you also have these lithium batteries that are used for things in your garage. And if people are altering the charging mechanisms for those, it's causing big problems and fires. And if I could say anything, don't alter any type of charging system for your lithium batteries, because it could be the difference between life and death with that.
Wow. And I think, a lot of people probably who do probably have no idea of the critical mistake that they're making.
Absolutely. Yeah, and there's other companies out there that sell these, cheaper products to, and people don't know the dangers of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So today is a day when you all celebrate. You're getting some new things. Obviously, that comes at a cost to the city. And so what do you say? I mean, how long has it been since you all got a new firehouse? And what do you say to that level of investment?
Well, it's expensive, and the last time we added a new station was in 1999. So the amount of growth we've added, wow. 40,000 more residents to the city of Aurora since then. And you know, you got to keep up with the growth of the city as well. So it's really an investment towards your future. You got these 2 new stations that'll be here for hopefully 70 years. So when you look at it and spreading out that investment and what it really means in reducing these response times to our residents, it's really a no-brainer. You're talking about the difference between life and death, and they're positioned in the right places now to put us in the position for success for the next 70 years.
I mean, it does sound like a no-brainer for sure, but tell me what's the planning process for something like this? I mean, how long has this been in the works?
Wow. Well, 25 years ago when I got on, they were talking about we need a station north of 88. So they were planning 25 years ago. Yes, it takes a long time. These processes take a long time. 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, is when the property was finally purchased for Station 13. Now you're talking about 10 years ago, and then you got to go through design phase. You got to go through funding and planning for that. It takes a lot, and it takes so many people, and there's so many people I'd like to thank for this. It's too many to mention, but it takes a village, definitely, to get something like this project going. But at the end of the day, it's definitely a great day for the city of Aurora and its citizens, and help them know that they got the protection they deserve.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And for those of us who obviously don't wear the uniform, may not know the ins and the outs, when I hear about new state-of-the-art things, I'm thinking, oh, are the firefighters going to be fighting over who works in Station 13 and Station 9? Does everyone want to work in those 2 houses now?
Yeah, there are. They do like it, but a lot of them love the station that they're at. Yeah. It can go both ways on that, but really everyone that's there loves the station. But the other, we have friendly competition between the stations on who's the best. I don't think they're willing to give in and say, I want to go to that station. No, they have fun with it, but they feel so fortunate to be in that beautiful station, and it's going to be effective for the number of years ahead.
Mm-hmm. And does this now, when you start adding new firehouses, does it mean that you will need maybe some new recruiting efforts, that you'll need more firefighters?
Well, we already went through that step and hired firefighters, so they were ready and trained through the academy already. We had already done that hiring process for them, and we do have the manning right now.
Wonderful. Love to hear that. Not everyone can say the same, so that's a great situation. It sounds like a great situation all around. New stations, new firefighters to go in there, a great leader like yourself. Thank you so much for your time here today. Thank you for what you do on a regular basis, you and your entire fire department.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a great day.
All right, everyone. It's about 2:15 right now. It's great to see them getting some new things here. And obviously, like a few of our other conversations today, just keep in mind that helps us in the end. If they're able to cut down their response times by half, that's huge. So again, to Station 13 and now the new Station 9, a lot of that has to do with the growth that's happening in Aurora, trying to respond to that on a very literal basis, now having more first responders that can get to you quicker. So it's a great day for the city of Aurora. It's about 2:15, everyone. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break. Our next guest is already on the line, and we're going to talk about the federal interest rate decisions coming up after this. All right, welcome back, everyone. It's 2:17 right now, and again, we have really been watching a lot of developments when it comes to the Federal Reserve. Interestingly enough, the developments don't have to do with the actual number. The numbers aren't changing in terms of where we're going as a result of many different factors, the conflict in Iran being one of them. But there's a lot more than just the numbers at play here. So let's go ahead and bring in Justice Palmer, founder and CEO at Fortuna Investments. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey Anita, how are you doing?
Doing all right, but I think many of us were kind of sitting, waiting with bated breath to see if the numbers would change from the Federal Reserve chair yesterday, and he said no. Were you expecting that?
I was absolutely expecting that. The market was not expecting that up until I guess the conflict or the war started. That's what's really kind of thrown everything off kilter. The expectation actually coming into this calendar year was that the interest rates would hopefully be dropped by almost a full percentage point. So 4.25% or 0.25% drops. So that would be obviously very good. That'd be great for consumers. It'd be great for folks who have mortgages, car payments, credit card payments, small businesses. That would be kind of the holy grail. And obviously with this conflict that started, the price of oil has skyrocketed. So the fear is that inflation may start to tick up. And so because of all those factors, the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, he decided to keep everything packed. Not going up, not going down. Let's just see how this thing shakes out for a month or maybe two.
Yeah, and keeping it steady is at 3.5 to 3.75%, but the goal is 2%, right?
Well, it depends on, the current cycle, the administration. There's a lot of factors on what the goal is. But yeah, the inflation goal certainly is 2% for inflation. Interest rates can be all over the map. I mean, for whatever it's worth, historically, even the rates that we have now, and this is over 50 and 100 years, we are kind of on the lower side of that in the threes. But if you look at the last 20 years, for example, the rate's generally been lower than where it currently is. And so the current president, President Trump, he's been very vocal. He's been demanding that the current chair, the Fed chair, bring the rates down. The Fed chair hasn't brought them down. He's brought them down a little bit, but you almost see it every week or every couple of weeks. The president's out there on social media and Fox and different platforms urging the Fed chair to bring the rates down to give consumers relief.
Yeah, that's a part of the developments outside of the numbers that I was referencing. There's a lot going on. I mean, the DOJ is even investigating the Fed chair right now, and one of the governors. That case has gone all the way up to the Supreme Court as the president is trying to fire the Fed governor. So, does that weigh at all in terms of maybe the resistance to change the numbers?
I mean, a couple. The biggest data point that I think is most relevant for the viewers at home is that the current Fed chair's term is expiring 60 or 90 days from now. So Jerome Powell will not be there anymore. And so President Trump's picked his own guy. He's a very accomplished, guy. Stanford background, Hoover Institute. He has been on record talking about lower interest rates. So the expectation is that Trump's going to have his own guy in there in the not too distant future. I think the new Fed chair might see the world more similarly to President Trump. And because of that, and this is just my, my hot take, but I don't think this war is going to go on for too much longer. The president's not interested in getting in very long, drawn-out conflicts. Afghanistan, Iraq, some of these very long, drawn-out wars. Everyone's got PTSD because of these very, very painful and expensive and tragedies. And so in the Trump doctrine, there's no desire to do a big drawn out war. So if I was a betting man, I think this thing, I hope, would be wrapped up in 30 or 60 days. America can hopefully declare some sort of victory, open up the Strait of Hormuz, start getting oil going. Oil has been the big problem. That's why oil skyrocketed. 20% of the world's oil goes through this very narrow strait that's been closed. And so I think we're going to learn a lot in the next couple of weeks. There's a huge meeting with President Xi. Trump and Xi are meeting on March 31st. I think that's going to be very interesting. I think there's going to be some big revelations and developments there. So I think that's something to watch on your calendar. So it's going to be, buckle up. It's going to be an interesting 30 days or so.
Well, you know what? I think we're all buckled in for sure. It's been a bumpy ride, 2026 thus far already. So let's talk a little bit about the possibility of at least one rate cut this year. I mean, is that enough to really help us? One rate cut?
I don't think so. And that's you're accurate, Anita. That's what the betting lines. That's what the guidance is. That's what Wall Street's saying. I'm going to take an opposite view. I think with the new Fed chair coming in, I think with the conflict and war coming to an end, hopefully very soon, I actually think we will get back closer to, let's say, 0.75% throughout the calendar year. And if we get close to 0.75%, that's meaningful. That you'll feel that. And again, this 2026 year, this is the year where no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. So, the hope is that we'll start to absorb more money in our paychecks and our pockets. You bring down the interest rates a little bit. I think that's a pretty good place to be in. As long as the price of oil doesn't stay too high for too long, I think we'll be in good shape.
How do the jobs numbers fall into the equation here?
That's a great question. So a couple things. One, the jobs numbers, we're still at historically generally low unemployment. We're on the low side of that in the 4s. Those are great numbers. There's obviously this year there's been a lack of immigration into the country. Most of the new jobs that have been created, they've been created for Americans, which is always a good thing. The government jobs are going down. The private sector jobs are going up. So I think the unemployment and the economy is in not a bad place. I think that's exactly the reason why. Hopefully we can get these interest rates down. If you get the interest rates down with the current setup, I think we're going to be in a pretty good spot this year.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that the Fed chair addressed in terms of that 60 to 90 days before his his term ends, May 15th, I think, is that possibility, okay, if we don't have, I believe is his name, Kevin Warsh,
That's right.
who has been President Trump's pick, if he hasn't gone through his confirmation process by then, which the confirmation process itself could be rocky, then there are some other scenarios in terms of what happens to Jerome Powell then. What are you thinking about that?
I mean, a couple things, right? I think Jerome Powell, I don't want to say he might be happy to kind of end his term. He's done a, I'd say okay job. If you go back through the track record at certain points was not good. If you go back to 2022, where when inflation really started to skyrocket, Jerome Powell said that was nothing to worry about. It was transitory, meaning that it was only going to stay there for a short period of time. That proved to be totally wrong for whatever it's worth. So the inflation was not transitory. It skyrocketed. The price of everything from McDonald's to, I mean, heck, everyone sees it and feels it. The price took off of everything. And then thereafter, he ended up actually, maybe too late, raising the interest rates at the fastest clip that we've seen in almost 40 years. And that created some massive problems within the economy and within consumers. And so, you've got that data point. You've got, everyone, can hear and see that President Trump he's not particularly fond of the job that the Fed chair is doing. I think that, Jerome Powell would like to preserve his dignity and his legacy and all these amazing things that he's also done. And so I guess what I'm trying to say in a very long-winded way, I'm not sure exactly if Jerome Powell wants to stay in that seat for another extended period of time, for whatever it's worth.
Why wouldn't
I think
he?
his time is up, his time is due, and I think he might welcome the replacement to come in, and he can enjoy the years of his life. Yeah.
For the confirmation, just maybe on a final note, for the confirmation process for Kevin Warsh, what do you think that the senators who are grilling him, I mean, it's a grilling for everybody that goes through the confirmation process. So what do you think they're going to be looking for the I mean, it is a huge decision to have a new Fed chair.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this is semantics and spectacle type of, clicks and things like that. When you listen to these things, they're all about sound bites and things like that. So they're good on sound bites, but generally light on substance for whatever it's worth. So I think it'll make for good TV, but I think the reality is, as far as I can understand, and I've checked him out, I've looked him up. He's a young guy in his late 30s. He's got a great education. He's done some great stuff. He's worked at the Fed Reserve and some of these things, and so he's I don't think there's gonna be any issue passing him or approving him. But just like anything in life, I think it'll be an interesting ride when you actually go through that confirmation process.
Well, it'll be very interesting to see for sure. Again, we are all buckled up and ready for the ride. Thank you so much. Great talking to you today, Justice. Hopefully, we'll be talking about maybe some improvements in some of these areas very soon.
That would be the best thing we can talk about. Absolutely. Anita, thank you so much today. Look forward to seeing you.
All right. Take care. Everybody, it's 2:28. Give us 2 minutes. We'll be right back. Our next guest is already on the line. Welcome back, everyone. It's about 2:31 right now, and we've had a lot of conversations about new things coming to the area today. And so let's continue on with that. The South Shore Line is making a big announcement about completion of a project and the long-awaited opening of some other train service. And I want to bring in Nicole Barker, the South Shore Line Director of Capital Investment and Implementation, to talk more about it. Thank you so much for your time. I'm doing very well this afternoon. Really appreciate you being here with me. Let's start here with the completion aspect. The Westlake Corridor Project Line Extension. What does that encompass, and how long have we been waiting to get to completion?
Yeah, this project has been a long time coming. We started working on this project many, many decades ago, actually in the 1980s when we picked up the corridor. We have been working on it, though, diligently through planning and getting ready for construction over the last decade that I've been here. So the full court press for several decades, but really the most recent planning and execution of the project over the last 10 years.
Wow. Is that typical?
For major capital projects like this that involve long corridors, especially this is what's called the Monon Corridor. The Westlake project is being renamed in honor of the Monon Railroad that used to run in this geography. But yes, these projects are often very long in terms of execution and planning and funding. And of course, none of that is possible without assistance from the federal government and a wide range of local entities that put up dollars to make the project happen.
Wow. And so we've mentioned this long-awaited opening of train service for the Monon Corridor. Talk a little bit about getting to this moment.
Well, I've been here actually myself 10 years. I was brought on early to assist with the planning phase of this project. We are over the moon. We are thrilled to bring this to our passengers. Many people have been talking about the need for this service. It's focused in Lake County, Indiana. It runs 8 miles south from the Hammond station in downtown Hammond, all the way down to the Munster-Dyer border on the south. It's 8 miles long, and it includes 4 stations, including Hammond Gateway Station. And if you've traveled in this area anytime recently, you'll notice that there is so much development. So many people are moving to Indiana, and a lot of that is in anticipation of this handy corridor that can get them easily downtown into Chicago and also eastbound to explore other areas in Indiana along our line.
It's not anticipating the Bears. I'm playing.
We would love for the Bears to come here. We would absolutely love for them to be here, and we will see, right? We will see.
I'm stirring it up. So tell me a little bit about the Monon Railroad. You talked about the fact that was there first. So give me a little history lesson.
Sure. So the Monon Railroad ran in Indiana, and in particular on this corridor where we are now putting our new line. They had both passenger service and freight service, and that discontinued I think it started in 1884, if I remember correctly, and it ran through about the 1970s. And ultimately, they discontinued use of the line altogether in 1989, at which point some of the earlier people who worked for the railroad, as well as some people with a lot of wisdom at the city of Hammond, like Janet Moran, who was a councilwoman there, decided, you know what, we should try to purchase this right of way in anticipation of being able to run the Monon Corridor later on. And that's what that dream from the 1980s is becoming reality today.
Wow, very interesting stuff there. And how many riders do you anticipate this affecting?
Well, we think the modeling will show us that we should have some thousands of new riders, but it's very interesting, this opening, as opposed to our earlier double track project that we had that completed a couple of years ago. This one is going to involve probably some portion of the people who go to Hammond Gateway. Some of them are going to go to the stations closer to their houses. So there will be some movement of people from existing stations to new stations, as well as recruitment of new passengers. We're really eager to find out what those counts are, but we do anticipate thousands of new riders.
And is that where I'm seeing, like, okay, this is the South Shore Line's first branch line? Is that kind of what you're talking about there?
Yes, we've never had a branch line before. This will be the first time our passengers are required to transfer trains. So when we brought the Monon line into construction, we decided that we had to differentiate our main corridor, which has been the 90-mile corridor we've operated on since 1908, from the new Monon corridors. So we actually got legal permission to use both the Monon name for our new corridor, and we've renamed our main corridor the Lakeshore Corridor. So passengers will start seeing the differentiation between those two lines in all of our materials, timeline, app, website, etc.
Who did you all have to get legal permission from to use Monon?
Just to make sure that there weren't any patents that covered any of the names or legal authorities that we had to handle. So we dealt with all of that.
And where does Monon, where does that come from? What is that?
That's from the Monon Railroad that we just talked about from the 1800s.
Ooh.
It's a historic railroad that doesn't exist anymore, and that's
Right,
why we were able to get that name.
Right, I get that part, but I'm wondering, does Monon, does that tie to something specifically other than the railroad? But even when it was used for the railroad, like what does Monon, what is Monon?
That's a great question. I don't know that I have the answer. There is a Monon Historical Society, though. And I have a friend that is part of this. I'll have to ask him.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very intrigued by that. I want to dig further into that aspect of it. I'm like, well, where's Monon coming? Is it Monon a city?
It's an unusual name, right?
A tribe? I don't know. Where does Monon come from? Okay. So for the different branches that we were just talking about before I went on my own tirade there, what will passengers need? Like separate tickets, or is this becoming similar to like I don't know, maybe a good, like with Amtrak, if you're going to several different places, but it's one ticket?
It is going to be one ticket, and that's a really frequently asked question we have so far. So we're updating our app. There's also a trip planner on our app and on our website, so that people will be able to very easily figure out, okay, this is a train that's going to require a transfer, and here's the first leg of my trip, and here's the second leg of my trip that I can choose. It's pretty simple. During rush hour periods on weekdays, you won't have to get off the train. You won't have to transfer. On off-peak weekday trains and all weekend long, you will have to transfer. In our paper timetable, you'll see a circular icon with an arrow that denotes which trains require a transfer. And then on the app, on the trip planner, and on our website on the trip planner, you'll be able to easily see when those transfers are required.
And this is really a new phase for you all. How are you all feeling about it?
We are so excited. We've hired a lot of new staff who are fresh-faced and ready to go to serve our new passengers in these geographies. So we have been, it's really been a labor of love by a really big team of people here at the railroad, also at the federal government, and all of our different partners at the state and at the RDA and others who've made this possible. So we are going to be having a big celebration the day of the opening of service on the 31st. So that'll be really exciting for all of us.
And I joked, about the Bears, but I do actually want to ask. I mean, let's say the team does cross state lines. Would this be something where it's like this came at just the right time to help the flow of so many people who are coming down there, or would this be totally separate and people would still need some other means of getting to you all?
Sure. Ultimately, it would depend on the precise location that they chose. But I know one of the sites, let's just say, is Hammond. There would need to be some kind of shuttle service to get from our station over there, but we think that would be something that would be obviously easily worked out and coordinated with us as well as Hammond and others. So we just stand at the ready. If the Bears want to move here, we'll accept that. But don't tell anyone I'm actually a Packers fan.
I know. With the mic in front of you. Okay, you said I'm not going to be the only one who's spicy today. Like
exactly.
You wanted to stir it up too. That is stirring it up big time.
I did. I just did. Yep.
Well, this has been great chatting with you about all of these things. Again, as I've said many times today, that we love hearing about growth and new things that are happening in the area, and it gives a sense of purpose. It gives a sense of like new direction for both Indiana and even when we were talking about here in Illinois. So it's wonderful to see that okay, if people are moving now people are actually, from the government side of things, saying, okay, let's respond. Let's make sure we have everything set up to make it easy for people who are living in that area.
Absolutely.
Great chatting with you today. Thanks so much. Everything outside of you saying you're a Packers fan was excellent. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Take care. All right, everyone. It's about 2:42 right now, and we're going to take a quick 2-minute break before we get to our next conversation. Again, we're anticipating a couple of different things here in the time frame around 2:45. Going to check in with our own Brett Bugansky. I think I just heard a snippet of his voice there, so he may be with us already. And then we're also going to talk about the oil prices, get an idea of the latest when it comes to those. I know it's painful to hear, but we all need to at least know what's going on. So give us 2 minutes and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, everyone. It's just about 2:45, and we're getting to our Brett Bugansky, who is working on getting the latest developments after a fire that took the life of a fourth-generation firefighter here in the city of Chicago this week. Brett, what do we know at this point?
So right now, within the last minute, a member of the Chicago Fire Department just pulled up right here at North Shore and Ravenswood in Rogers Park. I just saw the man go under the yellow tape where the fire happened, and this was the fire that claimed the life of Chicago firefighter Michael Altman, who ended up dying from his injuries on Tuesday. He was severely injured after falling through the floor. The floor caved. He ended up falling down through the basement, and unfortunately, he died on Tuesday at Stroger Hospital. And there was a long procession on Wednesday, I believe on Tuesday rather, and then yesterday, several fundraisers popping up around the area, and they've already raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Altman family. This is a man who's married with one child already, and his wife is expecting their second child any day. So a sad situation here, but within the last 24 hours through our own sources here at Fox Chicago, we found out there was an arrest made here. Now, I reached out to Chicago police. They didn't confirm or deny that anybody had been arrested or brought in for questioning here, but they still said this is a death investigation. And from what our sources have told us is that somebody was arrested on an unrelated case, an unrelated warrant, and that person is now being brought in for questioning for their alleged role in the fire that happened here on Monday. So as we're speaking right now. Chicago Fire Department here, why they're here, don't know at this time, but hopefully we'll find out some answers very soon.
Yeah, obviously the investigation into the fire itself is going on, in addition to whomever this person is that has been taken in, at least for some type of warrants, you're saying there, although they haven't fully come out and connected all of the dots in this particular situation. You were at one of the fundraisers for firefighter EMT Altman last night. I know you covered that. Just to talk about how the community, the community of first responders are taking this loss.
Well, anytime you have a member of the fire department or the police force die in the line of duty, you're going to have people who are going to be very sad about this. This is Chicago is a place where there's a lot of blue collar families. People respond to that, and they see their own fathers, their uncles, their cousins as firefighters, as Chicago police officers. Someone like myself from the northwest side of Chicago, come from a family of firefighters, and from where I grew up, and some of the people who knew Michael Altman, they come from the northwest side, where firefighters are looked at in a very high regard. You're looked at as sort of you're admired for their bravery and for their courage to go through some very dangerous situations. And certainly this situation here on Monday unfortunately claimed the life of Michael Altman here. But when this happens, if there was any good that comes of this, this is when Chicagoans and people across the country and the world hear these stories, and they want to donate their money and they donate their time. And the Yard Foundation, which was founded right here in Chicago, does great work raising money for firefighters and their families during a time of need. And from our story airing, I believe it was this morning, and we found it last night, the Yard Foundation, because of all the crowdsourcing and the fundraising there, had already raised more than $400,000. Then you have Barstool Sports, who had also done their own fundraising by selling these T-shirts and selling these sweatshirts in memory of Michael Altman. So those links are on our website right now if you're interested in donating to all those. It's at fox32chicago.com. But you have people who are coming forward who are willing to say, we support you, and we're willing to do anything it takes to help you during your time of need.
Yeah, and that is just so important, especially for a young family that was really just starting out. He was like almost, I think May or June was going to be his full 2 years on the department. So it just really is such a sad situation right now. And we know you're going to continue to ask questions about these investigations that are going on so that we can find out more about the circumstances surrounding the situation that took his life. Thank you so much. We know you got to get busy.
All right. Thanks, Nia.
All right. You take care. It is about 2:49 at the moment right now, and I do believe that there is a press conference that is actually still going on for the synagogue in Michigan where a man crashed in last week. So if we can go to that and listen in for a bit, let's go ahead and do that. Sounds like they may have just ended. So let's go ahead and get to our next conversation. Again, we were thinking that they were going to kind of continue speaking about some new information that they were getting there. If we do get some more information, I shared with you all earlier that they had shared some new pictures there from the Temple Israel, just so we have a little bit more context as to the extent. Look, you can see right here. These are the pictures that they have now started to share of the extent of damage. I mean, you know, when we looked at things from the outside the day, I mean, we were right here on the air taking all of this live as that smoke in the picture that's on your left-hand side at the top, as it was billowing out of the temple, the synagogue there was so much worry. There was so much concern. You know, these efforts to get the children, you see that picture from the childhood center, the early childhood center, get all of these children out of there, and you can see, I mean, had it not been for the wonderful people inside getting those kids out, there is full damage back where the kids were. I mean, no lives taken, no lives taken of the innocent children who were in there that day. But we do know that the man who intended harm on those children took his own life, and we're still thinking about the first responder, also the security guard who was trying to apprehend him, that got knocked unconscious, that was taken to the hospital as well. So they've been sharing some new pictures from inside, sharing some updates with the public. As we get more information, we will be passing that along to you. Sent shockwaves, new shockwaves, if you will, through the Jewish community throughout the country. So as we get new information, we'll be passing that along. We do want to continue to talk, though, about the oil prices from the war in Iran, what it's doing to the oil prices worldwide, really. And we're bringing in Sam Ori from the University of Chicago. He is Executive Director of the Institute for Climate and Sustainable Growth and Energy Policy. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Let's just talk about how things have escalated, quite honestly, with global energy prices with this conflict going on in the Middle East.
Yeah, it's this is really an unprecedented crisis in the global oil market. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the really vital waterways through which about a fifth of the world's oil supply transits every day. And at this point in the conflict, we're at the point where there's really no traffic going through the strait at all. And so this is the largest disruption to the global oil market in history. I think the big question now is how much longer is this going to go on for, and when will normal traffic resume through the strait?
Yeah, those are the big questions right now. I'm going to ask you, if you can, turn on your camera. We're getting great information from you, so I'd like everyone to be able to see you.
Yeah, my camera's on. I'm not sure why the video's not showing up. It was showing up a minute ago.
Okay, all right. Not sure what's happening, but let's go ahead and proceed with the conversation then. Where were oil prices first thing this morning? Like, where do we stand at this point?
Yeah. Today's been kind of a roller coaster session in oil trading. So prices jumped up. They headed up toward $120 a barrel this morning. On the news that there's been over the last 24 hours this back and forth between the United States and Israel and Iran over attacks on energy infrastructure in the region. There was a strike on the South Pars oil field in Iran yesterday, and it raised the specter of now moving from a situation where oil flows are disrupted through the strait to now a potentially new situation where there's actual attacks on oil and energy infrastructure in the Gulf. Iran responded and said that it would in turn begin to attack facilities in the region. And that really, I think, put markets on edge. And so this morning, prices really went up quite a bit. Throughout the day today, there's been lots of updates. President Trump has said that the United States will not go first in attacking energy infrastructure in the Gulf, and has I think said some things to indicate that there are unlikely to be additional attacks on energy infrastructure in the Gulf that are initiated by the United States. And so that really calmed markets down quite a bit, and oil prices now fell back to about $105 a barrel. But I think, it's really easy to get focused on these kinds of things that are happening throughout the day. This is likely to be a very volatile period. There's just a tremendous amount of uncertainty. And so markets are very quickly reacting to every little piece of information. And I think what that really reflects is, if this crisis really continues to escalate, if traffic does not resume through the Gulf, if there are attacks on energy infrastructure, the implications for oil prices would be, truly historic. And I think we're just at the very beginning of that. We just don't know where things are headed. And so markets are really guessing right now based on every little bit of information.
Yeah, and that last portion of what you just said, I think is really what I wanted to key in next on here. And that is, the president says from the beginning of this, so 4 to 6 weeks, but obviously that's a sliding scale, and there is no commitment it's going to end right at 6 weeks. But in terms of these impacts that we're seeing on oil prices, gas prices, how long do you think the impacts could be there from this time period?
Yeah, so that's really, I think this is really the core of the issue. And part of why, despite the fact that this is the largest oil supply disruption in history, there's never been anything like this, 20 million barrels a day in a 100 million barrel a day global oil market. So enormous disruption. But we haven't seen oil prices react in the way that they have in previous crises quite yet. And the reason, I think, is because the market still believes that this is a crisis of our choosing, that this is within our control, and that at any time, President Trump could declare an end to the hostilities and that the strait would reopen and, normal traffic would resume. I think with each passing day, there's a real risk that that has changed and that this is no longer within our control. Some of the early indicators that this is not within our control at this moment, for example, are many of the Gulf countries, the large oil producing Arab countries in the region, have started to have to shut in oil production facilities because they can't get the oil out. They're out of storage. They can't get it onto tankers. They can't get it out of the region. When you shut down those wells, it's not like you could just turn them back on the next day. They have to be repressurized. It takes weeks, sometimes months, to get those wells started up again. So that is a significant amount of production that already is not going to just come back on when the hostilities end. But I think more concerning is the possibility that as the conflict goes on, that Iran may get dug in and decide that it doesn't want to negotiate. It doesn't want to reopen the Strait of Hormuz without exacting some kind of pain on the global economy, on the U.S. economy. Or that there could be attacks on energy infrastructure. When those kinds of things start to happen, if the strait cannot be reopened through diplomatic means or an end to the hostilities, you start to get into lots of bad options that would be required to keep the strait open. There's been discussion of, the U.S. sending actual troops into the region to help keep the strait open, boots on the ground. Those kinds of things would indicate a much longer and potentially much more devastating crisis for the global economy.
Mm-hmm. And what does that say about our vulnerability? I mean, there's so much pride in the United States' lack of dependency, but what does it say about our vulnerability?
So that's a very good question. So I think it's really important to be clear about what we mean by dependency. And I think there's been a lot of really important developments in the U.S. energy sector over the last decade. And, the current administration, prior administrations point to this incredible surge in oil production in the U.S. The U.S. is now the world's largest oil producer, a major oil exporter, world's largest natural gas exporter. And those things are very different than periods in the past where we were large importers. And so in these periods when oil prices would go up, we would end up paying money to foreign countries to buy oil. That's changed. That has undoubtedly changed. But that is not really the source of what we mean when we say dependency on oil. The real dependency on oil is what we as consumers experience every time we go to fill up our cars at the pump. When you go to fill up your car at the pump, the price of that gasoline is set in a global market. It's a global market with participants from around the world, buyers and sellers. And what we really depend on is, affordable access to those supplies. And we don't really have alternatives. So in the U.S., we get about 90% of the energy in our transportation comes from oil. And so when the price of oil goes up at the pump, we have no choice but to just pay more. And so that is really the core source of the dependency. When you as a consumer, you go to fill up your gas tomorrow, fill up your car tomorrow at the gas station. If gasoline is $4 a gallon, it's cold comfort to you that, U.S. oil companies are making lots of money when they export this fuel. Sure, those revenues might make their way back into the economy and, increase the stock prices and 401ks of people who have, exposure to those sectors. But that's really not helping you as a consumer in the immediate short term when you go to fill up your car and gas is $4 a gallon or more. In parts of the country now, in California, it's $5. So that is really the source of the dependency. And I have to say, in the last few months, the United States has taken some, under the Trump administration, the United States has taken some steps, I think, in the wrong direction on that particular issue, really gutting fuel economy standards for vehicles, ending, support for electric vehicle manufacture and rollout in the country. Those are the kinds of things that really reduce that dependency on oil and that exposure to the oil market. And those things take, years and years to really have an impact. But walking away from them, I think right on the dawn of this crisis is kind of sends a clear message that we're headed in the wrong direction on that front.
Oh, there's so much to consider here, and again, as you're saying, in the midst of it all, which a lot of these things are way out of our hands in terms of everyday citizens. We're watching what's taking place, wondering when things are going to turn around, and my mom paid $4 a gallon just the other day for gas. I talked to somebody else today who typically fills up for $36, and today it was $78.32.
Yeah,
big difference.
the typical U.S. household uses about 800 gallons of gasoline a year. And so you figure if gasoline prices go up about $1 on average year over year, that's an extra $800 out of your pocket, into the gas tank. And there's really not much you can do about it in the short term.
Well, thank you so much for joining me here today on Chicago Live. I'm sure we'll have to call back on you. Hopefully we'll get to see you next time to chat again. But you have a wealth of information, and we really appreciate you sharing it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Take care. Everybody, it's 3:02. Our next guest is already on the line. So let's get in a quick 2-minute break. I'll set you up for where we're going in the 3 o'clock hour after this. Okay, welcome back, everyone. It's about 3:05 right now, and unfortunately, we're coming back with a very sad breaking news, but the Associated Press is now confirming that Spanish authorities have found the body of a missing college student from here in Illinois, from Elmhurst to be more specific, Jimmy Gracie, just 20 years old. That body was found in the water off of a Barcelona beach, as we kind of gave you an indication of early on in the broadcast when they were working to confirm this information. That was near where he was last seen, outside of a nightclub with his friends early on Tuesday morning, and then he never returned back to the room, the Airbnb that they had rented with friends, but police recovered his phone. And now they have confirmed his body was found in the water very close to that area there. Gracie was a student at the University of Alabama. They have sent out a message to their students today. He was visiting Barcelona for spring break. spring break trip, as many students are doing right now in the month of March. They have said that the investigation will continue into the cause of death. Okay, so we know where he was found. We do know, have confirmation that it was his body that was found, but they are continuing their investigation into the cause of death. And when we get that information, we will pass that along as well. But again, authorities in Spain are now confirming that they do have the body of 20-year-old James Jimmy Gracie there in Barcelona. Our thoughts are with his family and friends at this time. And again, as we get more information about what happened, we will be passing that along to you here online and also on air. When we turn you over to the 4 o'clock news, I'm sure they'll be giving more information. I believe we have Joni Lum on this story right now, so hopefully we'll get more information about that very tragic situation. Also here in the 3 o'clock hour here on Chicago Live, we're going to talk before we get to the 4 o'clock about Election Day complaints. There were a few. So we're going to talk with the authorities there in Kane County about what they were hearing and what they're doing about that. We will get an update on our beautiful weather outside. I mean, we have been through it, everybody. We really have been through it over the last few weeks. We've had spring storms, tornado, hail. We had winter weather, snow, below freezing conditions, -10, -15 degree wind chills. We have been all over the place. High wind that caused damage for so many. And unfortunately, some of all of these different things that we've been through have even taken lives. 3 lives that were taken in those tornadoes downstate, Kankakee. So, or down even further than that. I believe the deaths were in Indiana and one death that was further north. So, we've really been through it. So it's great to see the weather starting to cooperate finally here in our state, and we're hoping that it stays that way for a while. We're going to talk with meteorologist Mark Strell. He's going to come up here right around 3:30 and give us an update on where we are today and where we're going as we press forward to the weekend. Really looking forward, especially with the weather conditions. This makes us look forward even more so to the weekend. So that'll be around 3:30. We're going to get to a record store that has some history. We've been saying all day today because we went to a different record store first thing this morning for Good Day Chicago, but in so many ways, we just, keep getting reminded that all things old become new again. So I'm starting to think, did I throw away all of my old CDs? Because you might be able to use those things again. Clearly, the music has changed, but the classics stay forever. So we're going to get to another record store here on Chicago Live, Lamont Record Store. Moose Vinyl is the company that has taken them over and now serving as a record collecting community. It's very interesting how they're using technology to, again, bring something from old back again. But first, let's talk about the folks who have been fighting food insecurity in our area for 4 decades and the new home that they are getting, new headquarters for Beyond Hunger. Beyond Hunger CEO Jenny Hull is joining me now. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Jenny, it's a great day for you all. Tell me a little bit about how it's gone.
Oh, it's been a fantastic morning. As you were saying, the weather's been perfect, so I feel like the city is shining on us a little bit today. But we are groundbreaking a new space on North Avenue in Oak Park, but still really close to the Austin neighborhood, which is where many of the folks we serve come from. And we just had an amazing turnout this morning. Everyone's so excited. The team here has been looking for a space probably since 2020. So the fact that we have bought this, what used to be a grocery store, and then most recently was a gym, and we're going to be able to turn it into a warehouse, a community market, a drive-through for an online market pickup, and a community kitchen where we can do cooking demos. So we are thrilled. We are so excited. And we serve about 70,000 people a year, and our space we had before just cannot keep up with that many people.
Let's talk a little bit about that space. You all were operating out of a church basement for a while.
Yeah, since 2005, we've been in a church basement. And while that probably worked out really well at the beginning, it's really become an issue. I mean, we are putting things through like a tiny window. So we're breaking down pallets of food and sliding it in through that window. And this space will allow us to have pallets of food roll inside and we can put them right in the freezers and coolers. And it'll just make the job of serving our community so much easier and probably a lot better for the backs of staff and volunteers who have been bending and twisting to move that food through the window.
Tell me about fighting food insecurity here in Cook County. What is that like? What is the need like?
So we know about 1 in 7 people struggle with food insecurity in Cook County and 1 in 5 families with children. So the need just continues to grow. I know you had somebody on earlier talking about gas prices. That's obviously an issue. There's uncertainty around food stamps. You know, people are going to be in May, about 200,000 Illinois folks will be kicked off of food stamps. And so there's just constant need. I was in the field during COVID and I thought, wow, this is historic. I don't know that we'll ever see this much need. And it's just gone up every year since.
Wow.
And I think a lot of it has to do with, one kind of crisis after another for the people we serve. But not only that, but most people really do live one paycheck away from needing a food pantry. There's the variety of people that come to a food pantry. These are your neighbors. And so many people will have to turn to a food pantry for the first time in the coming few years, I believe.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see the changing faces, right? I think people think that there is a face to food insecurity, but there really is no face to food insecurity, especially in this day and age.
That's absolutely correct. And you see that when the government shut down and people are not getting paychecks, they're coming to food pantries for the first time. And they'll tell us, I used to volunteer here, I used to be a donor, and now here I am needing a food pantry. It's just the first thing people are worried about, right? When they're not getting a paycheck, or when their car breaks down, or if they lose their SNAP benefits or get a reduction. And that's why we exist. People will wait sometimes until I waited as long as I could before I needed to come in. It's like, no, we're here for you now. Come now. And I just am so thrilled that this space will provide such a dignified experience for our community. It's going to feel like a grocery store. And so I think that first time that someone has to come to a food pantry, I hope it feels as comfortable as it possibly can.
Tell me about some of the services that people may not realize you all provide there, especially will be providing at this new location.
Right. So we have a community market. So you come in, you can pick out your groceries. Again, that's what's going to look like a grocery store in this space. We currently do that over at the church as well. We have a drive-through. So during COVID, that was the safest way to get people groceries. Our clients still really want that because it's so fast and so quick. So we'll have a drive-through option. We'll have an online market so people can order their groceries. At least I order my groceries online. Probably a lot of us do. Same thing, can just come and pick up those groceries. We'll work with some of the community partners that people can actually pick up groceries from those partners so they're not having to make one extra trip to us. We'll have our nutrition, we have dietitians on staff, so we'll have nutrition workshops and cooking classes. And then we also have folks that sign people up for benefits, so SNAP and Medicaid. At this point, it's really trying to keep people on those services or let them know how the rules are changing. And we have a home delivery program that serves Oak Park and Austin.
It's tremendous what you all are doing, and I'm so happy that you all are going to be able to do even more, serve even more people with your new headquarters. Is there anything else that you would want people to know about Beyond Hunger or this new location that I haven't asked you about that you want to make sure gets across?
I would just say that one, I just want to thank the community. They've been so wonderful to us and taking such good care of us. And today was such a celebration of that. And if you want to get involved, our website is gobeyondhunger.org. Volunteer, come in, see the basement before we move to this nice space. You can get a little taste of both, and just get to know more about us. It's a really incredible community out here. But thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you for what you do. All right, you take care.
Thank you.
It's 3:15, everyone. We're going to get in a quick 2-minute break, and then we're going to the record store. welcome back, everyone. 3:17 right now. Music lovers, this one is for you, especially if you're old enough to remember having a vinyl or cassettes, you know, the CDs even before everything was just downloaded music. Let's go ahead and bring on Connor Wells. She was the co-founder of Moose Vinyl to talk a little bit about the resurgence of vinyl. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about what you all are doing there in Lamont.
Really, we just want to continue what's already here. We kind of took over the shop. Dave and Joanne Bruff started about 7 years ago, and recently they started selling on our online platform, and just growing a relationship with them, kind of realized that David wanted to retire and wanted to continue on what he started over here.
Mm-hmm. And why choose to partner with them? I mean, why choose to go this route?
Yeah, so my wife is from the south side of Chicago. She's a PA down at Payless Hospital. We moved back to the area about 3 years ago. I worked in healthcare as well, and kind of wanted to transition out of that area and kind of dive in deeper into here, and kind of worked out kind of serendipitous.
And you all are taking over, as you said, B-side records. Where does the name Moose Vinyl come from?
You know, it's a very good question. It was kind of ambiguous. My brother and cousins and I kind of started the company 3 years ago, as just a labor of love, kind of a hobby project, and kind of grew and grew. And we needed a name to call the app, and we landed on Moose for some reason.
Okay, well, it's memorable for sure. Tell me what you love about that space.
Yeah, I mean, we love being here on Main Street. We're really, really good friends with Folklore Coffee down the street. I don't know, everyone wants to get their caffeine fix these days. So honestly, found the location going to their shop, grew the relationship with David. Being here downtown Lamont is amazing. I'm really looking forward to settling the roots here for sure.
And be it that you were a healthcare professional before, clearly you had to have some type of love to go in that direction in life. But you have to be somewhat of a music lover to want to go in this direction. Was this like a leap of faith, or you just kind of knew at some point in time if you could just make it into the music industry in some kind of way, you were going to make your move?
Yeah, I think everything roots in like community service, kind of bringing people together. Originally, I thought it was within the healthcare space, and I still am very fond of my work in that area. But being able to kind of immerse myself in the community in a different way and bring people together for something that they do love rather than kind of hard times in their life is something that I really love to be around. And music has always been something for me that I've kind of centered relationships and gatherings and kind of my good times in life. So I wanted to keep that kind of a center in my life and share that with a lot of people around here.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a full believer that music can be soothing to the soul for sure. Tell me about some of the vinyl that you have there.
Yeah, I mean, we got about 9,000 records on our storefront shelf on the store floor here, and then about another 40,000 titles online. So I know you mentioned a little bit earlier that if you're old enough to understand records, but the modernization of the industry is crazy. You'd be surprised on the average age of folks coming through the door here.
Talk to me a little bit about that. Yeah, because I mentioned even earlier, like all old things come back around, become new again. And yeah, I do know that younger people are starting to want, something physical instead of just downloading everything. So what are they getting now?
Oh my gosh, a little bit of everything. You'd be surprised. Anything new and old. It'd be, genre fluid, anything that you can imagine.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, what were some gems to you when you started going through the catalog there?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm a big jam band guy. So, I love all the Grateful Dead stuff. I'm a really big fan of Goose, another big jam band now. Fish, a lot of Fish records. David's kind of core here was classic rock. So I think anything and everything classic rock you can imagine will probably be here, and tons of original pressings. So anything new and old for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, are we talking about average prices, like affordable prices, or are these some of the things that are like these are pristine and you're going to have to fork over some serious cash to get your hands on them?
Oh, a little bit of everything. I'd say most of our collection here is very affordable. Anything from $5 through $40 or so for kind of new pressings. And then we have some really collectible box sets and things that go up to 200 and so. Some signed records that can get up to 1,000, but that's a little bit different or deeper into the collectibles.
Oh, let's talk about that. Who are some of the ones that you have signatures for?
Well, a really cool one I have here is the National. Kind of another modernization of the physical media industry is AMG, audio media grading. They're doing preservation and kind of grading of physical media. So it's another step, kind of like sports cards and things like that kind of get preserved and graded and authenticated. So it's even happening in the music space now.
Mm-hmm. And that's really for Moose Vinyl. You all are all about being a technology platform that really takes the love of music, the love of vinyl to the next level. Talk a little bit about how technology factors into bringing us forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone can agree that the algorithm kind of feeds them their new and inclusive music on the apps like Spotify and Apple Music. We kind of wanted to do the opposite. We wanted to kind of take your real interest, and we think that the records that people have on their shelves speak more than the things that they listen to in their apps. So that's kind of the foundation of the technology, and then we wanted to bring the community together. So being able to follow people, being able to see what their collection holds, what records are on their shelves, and then also explore and dig record stores all over the country that are listing their inventory on our marketplace.
Mm-hmm. And this is you all's first brick and mortar retail space. Do you have aspirations for more?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've caught the bug. I mean, it's very early, but hopefully we can repeat success here.
Yeah. Let me ask you, for people who, and maybe for young people especially who are like, I don't know about that. Give them a plug. Like what should draw them to your store?
I think here, whether you're a seasoned collector or, as you say, have no idea what playing records or collecting records is, I think there's a place for you here. You'd be surprised on how many people comment that they don't even have turntables or speakers or anything like that. And just to have the conversation, just to be around music, just to get to learn, and then support your favorite artists. People are always surprised. There's turntables that are Bluetooth capable now. So the technology in the space is growing and it's becoming more modernized and more inclusive for everybody, I think.
Ooh, turntables with Bluetooth. I'm a little like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Tell me, are there some other things that you think are misnomers that maybe you could clear up even while we have this time?
That's a good question. I think that it's just it's a hobby for everybody, and you don't have to be a music nerd, or you don't have to play music or anything like that. I have no technical ability in the music space, but I think everyone that can listen and understand and enjoy has a place for sure.
Now I hear you have a newborn. What do you think she's going to be listening to one day?
Oh my gosh. I just hope that, first and foremost, I'm excited to have her grow up and have her be around the shop and have it just be a part of her life. And I can wish that she takes on my collection one day. So all the crazy stuff that I listen to, anything and everything for sure.
It'll be funny for you to play this back one day, and it's like, yeah, whether it matches up with whatever she's listening to by then.
100%, definitely.
Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on the new acquisition and the new baby, the new addition. And please take care.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys again. Thank you.
Absolutely. Take care. It's 3:27, everyone. It looked really cool in there, and I would love to find out how many more signatures they have, whose signatures they have on some of the vinyl that's in there. Some signatures, like he said, I mean, those might feel priceless to a lot of people, especially if the artist is no longer with us. Wonder what all's in there. Might have to go check it out. It's about 3:28, though. Let's get in a 2-minute break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. 3:30 right now. Meteorologist Mark Strell is here. And boy, is it a beautiful day out there.
It's a beautiful day in our neighborhood, isn't
We
it?
deserve it.
Oh, I think we deserve this and more. I think we deserve this from here on out, but what we deserve and what we get, two different things,
Oh,
right?
that is true. That is true. Let's talk about how this day is shaping up.
Well, we have temperatures in the 60s. I can see outside there's not a cloud in the sky. I'm all for days like that, right?
Yeah, keep them coming.
Here's the deal. We do have more temperatures in the 60s. So today's Thursday, 60s. Tomorrow, Friday, in the 60s. We're in the 60s again on Saturday and into Sunday. Now, you can see if that picture right there, there's a little bit of haze. We're not quite as clean. You look straight up, there's not a cloud in the sky. But when you look over towards the horizon, there's a little bit of haze, a little bit of stuff in the atmosphere. But other than that, I think we're doing pretty well today. Springtime is all about days like this. Unfortunately, it comes with days like Monday, where we had that blowing and drifting snow and those cold temperatures.
Last Monday,
yeah.
I thought you were telling me we only get like 3 days worth of this, and I'm like, Monday, it's going downhill Monday.
Here's the deal. We do cool off after Monday. We get back down into the 50s, and there's a tiny chance of rain on Sunday, about a 20% chance of rain. But we're largely dry after that, and we have some 40s and 50s coming up next week, but we should be back to 60 degrees again by next weekend.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this picture. We're looking at the 2800 camera, which is right over Lakeshore Drive, and you can see like the schmuck in the air the
Yeah.
closer you get to downtown from this vantage
Right,
point.
a little bit of moisture in the atmosphere. That's basically from the snow that has melted. The ground is still kind of damp. Well, obviously, we maybe have some particulate matter that's in there as well. So it's not quite crispy, as we would normally like to see, especially for a day like today. That's such a blue sky day.
Yeah.
But all things being equal, 60s, some sunshine. We're in March. A couple of days ago, there was a blizzard, literally a blizzard, and we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying earlier, we've really had like every season in the last 2 weeks.
Honestly, if you look from Sunday into Monday and Tuesday, we had all 4 seasons within about 36 hours. So welcome to Chicago.
Yeah, it's been a merry-go-round for sure. Are you thinking, so let me see, what is today? The 19th. Tomorrow morning is officially, for us non-meteorological folks, I know you all have already turned the page, but for us for us non-scientists, it's officially spring.
For you Gregorians. Yeah.
The regular folks.
Yeah, the Gregorians.
It's spring tomorrow.
Yes, it is. So, yeah, officially spring. That's when we hit the equinox. And that's when all the school kids go out and see if they can balance an egg, right? Old wives'
Is there
tale.
something? Yeah, I was going to say, is there something to that?
I don't know. I never got back to that because I was always either hard-boiling mine or putting it in the frying pan, so we never got back that far. But tomorrow, that's when we kind of sync everything up, as the direct rays of the sun go directly over the equator, and our days continue to get longer and longer.
Mm-hmm. I am looking forward to that.
Oh, you me both. Even, just the last couple of weeks, we've had some setbacks in terms of weather, in terms of some snow and cold conditions like that. But just to be able to see the daylight, past 4:20 in the afternoon. Now, I realize that was back in December, but still, that's a season I kind of dread when it's dark, when you get out of work, and dark when you go to school in the morning, and it's dark all the time, and it's like you feel like a mole living in a cave.
You're like, what is going on?
Yeah, I'd like to see some sunshine, please.
Vitamin D. Vitamin D.
Absolutely. We all could use a little vitamin D.
Absolutely. And we have the Shamrock Shuffle that's coming up on Sunday.
Okay.
So, runners like it a little crisp in the air. Listen, some folks like it to be super hot outside. I'm just giving generalities.
Probably not most runners, though.
I'm just giving generalities here. Most runners like a little crisp in the air, and so we're gonna get that on. I said I'm not gonna be out
You're
there,
not
just
gonna
so
be
you
out
know.
there
I've done Shamrock Shuffle, love it. It's a wonderful run. Make sure you
did it. I'm impressed.
I did. It's a wonderful run. The street, we had St. Patrick's Day on Tuesday, and last Saturday we had the river going green, and then this weekend Shamrock Shuffle, you just see a sea of green, and that's actually the road.
Yeah, no,
people running on the road.
It's amazing. I remember a couple of years ago, I was out tooling around on my bicycle on Shamrock Shuffle days, and I was down in the far south loop, and it was like, oh, well, I'm stuck on this side of the road because it's just a sea of humanity, and it was okay because I just sat there. Everybody was kind of decked out in some sort of shamrocky, shuffly type stuff.
It's a
right?
part
just
of
like
the
that
culture,
picture, right?
yeah.
And my favorite guys in the entire world, favorite iconic Chicago folks, are the broccoli people. Have you seen the broccoli people?
Yes.
I love the broccoli people. They're guys that get dressed up, they're all green, and then they have like broccoli
the bushy
on their heads. Yeah, I mean, and we've interviewed them in the past, and what fun guys. I mean, those are guys you want to hang out with, I would think.
Oh my goodness, it's such a fun run, and you could just see the smiles on everyone's faces out there. So most runs are better when the weather cooperates.
Cool, yeah, and I think we'll be in pretty good shape. It happens on
Sunday.
Next Sunday. And next Sunday, there is a chance of some rainfall.
Okay.
About a 30% chance. Now, again, that is a long ways off. That is a very long ways off. We're talking this Sunday.
Yeah, I was going to
sorry.
just a couple of days.
Sorry, thank you. I'm too forward looking forward.
They zoomed in on it. Yeah,
okay.
that's the time frame
There.
we're working
Thank
with.
you, Zoom people. Thank you. Yeah, this Sunday. No, it's going to be great. It's going to be sunny. We'll have daytime highs in the 60s, and we will have, at run time, probably temperatures in the 50s. Even starting upper 40s during the very wee early morning hours.
It's literal perfection for a run like that. So we're going in the right direction for the runners who are going to be out there. And for everyone else, again, we just we're going to be able to kind of come out of hibernation, hopefully.
You know, and we were talking about that, about being, you know, the dying of the river. That seems to be the first time that everyone in Chicago kind of comes out and lets loose a little bit, even though it could be a little bit cool, even though it could be, you know, snowing perhaps on those
And
days.
it was. It was
right.
last Saturday.
It did. It did.
It was cold and it was snowing, but it was a good time. People come out a lot of it.
Yes, they do.
A lot of it on the river dying, the day of the river dying. But it's always a good time.
It's always a good time, and people are finally, they're kicking down the doors. They're like, we're getting out. We're going to go out and hang out with 100,000 of our best friends. And we're going to go out and have a good time.
Hey, it's that season around here. So, do you think that Old Man Winter has had his final say for the year?
Well, it depends on what you mean by final say. I think we'll see another flurry at some point or another. I mean, we're not done. Potentially, we can have snow all the way up through May.
Yeah.
So we will probably see some flurries at some point or another. Any significant snowfall? No, probably not. Anything really bitterly cold, kind of like we had on Monday with those temperatures down in the single digits? Maybe we could get down in the single digits, but for overnight lows. But that's increasingly harder to do, especially every day that we go forward. The days are lengthening, the angle of the sun's going up, so all things are working in our favor.
Okay, and maybe on a final note, Chicago Hinge. We get a hinge twice a year, right?
Yeah, and I think we could see that basically, you know, coming up, but really for a couple of days. It's gonna look pretty cool as the sun comes up in the due west, or sets in the due west, comes up in the due east.
So give some instructions for people who, everybody wants to get their cameras out and take a picture when we have a hinge. And so what is the general rule for?
Do it on the equinox. Yeah, do it then.
But I mean, like, do you need to be on an east-west
Yeah, don't
street?
do it on north-south street. That would be, you wouldn't see anything. Yeah, east-west street, and you just see that the sun just kind of aligns with the east-west streets in the morning and then again in the evening. So
yeah, we always get some fantastic pictures that many of you all send in. Send in your pictures to make sure. Hopefully they'll make it on the air. Can't guarantee every single one of them will make it on the air, but a lot of them do make it on the air, especially the really good ones make it on the air. I love when people find like new places.
Right.
There are some very typical places, and that's great. They're typical for a reason because they're going to give you a great shot. But I love when people come up with like a new place, and you're like, oh, that was fantastic.
Right.
Hadn't thought about going there for this picture.
And if you're not in Chicago, you're in a suburb. I mean, just line yourself. You can do it on your street, looking straight down your street, east-west streets. That's where you're going to see it come up and then set.
Okay. All right. Some great things happening, spring things happening, and we hope that there are more spring things to come. Old Man Winter.
Old Man Winter, get out of here.
Get on out of here. Thank you so much for being here, Mark Strell. We know you got to get ready for the 4 o'clock.
Doing the big 4 here.
Doing the big 4. All right. So we'll see you very soon. We're going to take a 2-minute break, though, and I'll be back after that. or hope. So that may be a part of the rally at the end as well, kind of hearing that. Whenever we hear about instability, which has been for a number of reasons over the last month, what we've primarily heard about, instability, uncertainty, those types of words never really play out well on the market. So oil prices again eased a bit today, just not enough for the day overall, but we're starting to see at least some mentions that maybe things could end there with this war, the conflict there in Iran, sooner rather than later. From the tech side of things, it looks like there were some losses today as well. There were some pretty significant losses today as well, but oil seems to be the bigger weight on the market in terms of what we've seen today. So we're going to continue to keep our eyes on that, obviously, day to day. This week has not been a good day for the stock market, or good week for the stock market, but we'll continue to see tomorrow where we end the week. That'll be the big thing, where we end the week. Doesn't matter how you start, matters how you finish. Let's keep that in mind. 3:46 though, and many of us have had elections on our minds this week. We had a big day on Tuesday here in the state of Illinois, in the city of Chicago. Many new people who were elected into office, some who got to keep their seats, and some who were assuming new seats, and some who will fight on for the general election to see if they will get to either keep or take a new seat. So we still have a ways to go, but we are hearing, we got word from the Kane County State's Attorney Office that they have fielded and responded to some complaints submitted to their election hotline, and we want to get more information about that. This going back to the primary election on Tuesday. I have the Kane County State's Attorney, Jamie Moser, with me right now. Thank you so much for joining us yet again here on Chicago Live. We always appreciate having you.
Thank you. I love being back here every single time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Tell us about, one, how you all prepare even to go into an election day.
So a lot of it is we review the election code, we review the law, we make sure that our county clerk's office has that, anybody else who does, we partner with the sheriff's office and local police, just to make sure we're doing what is right in any given situation, because we want to make sure that when we respond, everybody knows what the law is. We've created an election hotline that anybody can call in, and on election day, those are going to be immediate responses. So if you call on election day, you tell us what's happening. We're sending an assistant state's attorney out to be able to communicate and find out what's happening so we respond appropriately.
So what were some of the calls that you got? What were some of the complaints that you got, and how many?
So we had on election day 9 total complaints. The majority of it was you are not allowed to electioneer, which means to campaign for yourself or any other candidate within 100 feet of when people are electing or people are voting, because we want to make sure that the people who are voting do so without any pressure. They feel like with the choices that they're being made is not influenced by anybody else. So we got most of those where people felt like somebody was within that 100-foot zone. And so we talked to the election judges, we talked to other officials that were there. We went there just to make sure that people were doing what was right. We also had a lot of people who would go in with campaign stuff on them and things that they didn't mean to necessarily be an issue, but it was just something that they were wearing on the way into campaigning or into voting. So that's what we saw mostly.
Mm-hmm. And what were some of the concerns that you heard before Election Day?
A lot of it is that people want to go in and vote of their own accord. They don't want to be pressured to do so. So the majority of the complaints that we actually got were people who felt like there was somebody outside trying to influence their vote. And the thing is, candidates and even supporters of candidates are allowed to be outside of voting sites. They just have to be beyond that 100-foot time period or zone. And so I think the biggest problem that we have is sometimes people don't understand that candidates can stand out there. They can support themselves and ask for you to vote. It's all legal. It's just they can't follow you in to try to affect your vote.
Yeah, and as I said, For some races, they were effectively over after the primary, but of course, for many others, they fight on for a new day in November.
Absolutely,
so,
yes.
So what are some of the things that you want to get the message out about as we trek forward to November? Like you've kind of had the tester, if you will, for 2026 with the primaries, but as we go forward to the general election, what are some of the things that you want to make sure the public knows about?
So every single time we have a primary and a general, we come up with the same issues. We're always aware of them, and a lot of time it's educating the public. We've trained the election judges, the county clerk's office knows what they're doing, our local police and our sheriff's departments know. So these issues that we have every single time are very similar. Sometimes it's just people don't understand the difference, but we are always there. We are always vigilant. I was even driving to different election sites just to make sure things were going. So we know what happens. Most of the time it's about educating them to understand what is right, what is wrong, because everybody deserves the right to vote in the way that they want to without feeling that pressure.
Mm-hmm. And I know that some people, given the last several months, have had concerns about, election integrity. One, and two, their security going to election sites, be it that we did have, a very active immigration enforcement that was happening in our area several months ago. Can you speak to those things?
Sure. So one of the things that people look for a lot is whether or not they're going to be free to vote. And so there are actually laws around who can be in polling sites for people who are in law enforcement. And very specifically, ICE can't be there trying to detain people. And so that's one of the things that we wrote a memo. We made sure the county clerks had it. We made sure law enforcement knew about it to, again, allow people who are supposed to do what they were doing without that fear. For election security itself, I can tell you our Kane County Sheriff's Office was patrolling all throughout Kane County, just making sure people felt secure in what they were doing. Our election judges and the people who were volunteering or getting paid to be there felt safe enough to be able to work there to ensure that other people had their voice. So this is something, especially in Kane County, that we have now down to a science to make sure that people can do what they're supposed to do within the confines of the law.
Mm-hmm. And I know that some people also complained about receiving the wrong ballot. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that a little? Because it's not isolated to Kane County.
No, absolutely not. So sometimes it's about how people request things. In Illinois, in a primary, you either request a Democratic or Republican ballot. And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't know who they want to vote for, which party they're on. So they usually request what they have done before. And then they realize that person may be not on that ballot. So the great thing about our election judges and the people who ran this is when somebody came back and they said, I have the wrong ballot, they undid that and gave them the correct ballot. So we never had a situation where somebody voted in the ballot that they didn't want to. It just sometimes happens because of communication, sometimes because of confusion, but we made sure that it never negatively impacted somebody's vote.
Mm-hmm. Are you at all concerned, going forward to the general election, where you anticipate there will be more people? Do you have changing concerns when you have more people that will be heading to the polls versus a primary where you typically don't see as many people come out?
I don't. At this point now, I'm in my 6th year being the state's attorney here. We've learned every single election that we have. Every time we learn something, we make sure it doesn't happen again. So I don't have that concern. We provide regular training. We have videos that we give to people who work during all of this. We have the election hotline. We put that out in press releases to make sure that people know about it. I'm not concerned about the general election, which will create or result in more people appearing.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much again, as always. I would ask you, I mean, and you know, can weigh in if you'd like, and if you don't, that's it's certainly your choice. But right now, of course, senators are currently debating the SAVE Act. Do you think that is an issue for the state of Illinois?
100%. I mean, anytime that we're looking into how we can better all of this, how we can ensure that there's public integrity, how we can ensure that people's voices actually matter, I 100% think that is something that will affect Illinois.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much again. We appreciate it. I don't know where you're standing, but it looks beautiful behind you, even though it's blurred.
It is. I'm in the beautiful downtown St. Charles right now. And it's gorgeous out here. So everybody needs to leave their homes and go outside.
Spend a little time outside. I think that would help with a lot of things.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. We certainly appreciate you, as always.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And of course, as we do trek forward to the general election, we'll be sharing more information both online and on air so that people know their rights. I mean, I think that's one of the most important things, so that you know your rights. There is a Bill of Rights, essentially, for voters, for Election Day, for those who will be campaigning. And so the more we all know about what is supposed to be happening and is not supposed to be happening, the better informed we all are about the regulations. The more smoothly election days become. So let's go ahead, take our final 2-minute break here, everybody, on Chicago Live, and then we'll be back to close out the show. right, welcome back, everyone. Very interestingly, we had a conversation about the South Shore line a short while ago, I believe, right at the top of our 3 o'clock hour. And I just want to let you know that they did circle back with me about the origin of Monon, and it actually derives from Potawatomi Indian words that sounded to the first settlers like Metamonong or Monong, and seemingly meant tote or swift running. The more we know. All right, just wanted to throw that out there. We'll be right back here tomorrow, everybody, and we certainly hope that you will be as well.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at 4.
All right, don't ramp up. We're getting straight to it. I'm Terrence Lee.
And I'm Sylvia Perez. We're following several breaking stories for you, including a major shakeup at City Hall.
Paris Schutz is in the studio with us. Paris, who got the pink slip?
Well, Terrence and Sylvia, this one has City Council rattled right now. Surprise firing of Mayor Johnson's top official for public safety, Deputy Mayor Garion Gatewood. Now, Gatewood has been front and center as the point person on violence, on honoring fallen public safety officers, and crafting a policy to help bring the rate of crime down. He's made several media appearances talking about the crime reduction strategy in the mayor's office. He was the one that crafted that. Now, he says he was given no reason today for the sudden termination other than they wanted to go in a, quote, different direction. But Gatewood says the direction he